What's up, my horse lovers? It's the Horse Reactor here, and I am back for another reaction. And this time, we are taking a look at, well, we are returning to the channel called TVG Racing. This one's called Runhappy, the documentary. I have tried numerous times to do this reaction, but I kept getting interruptions, and there was noise in the background. But, anyways, I figured I might as well try to do it now. It's about 27 minutes and 32 seconds long, so yeah, it's a long one. So, anyways, let's get to it in 3, 2, 1, play. Oh, field. There he is. Runhappy. He looked at me right as soon as I said his name. That's the owner.
He was the last horse I was ever going to own. I lost so much money in the business, and there came this miracle horse named Runhappy.
Oh, yeah?
Runhappy is simply super!
He was a true champion.
Runhappy, what a racehorse!
Oh, yeah.
First time I laid my eyes on him, I said, wow, this horse looked like the real deal.
Oh, yeah?
If you could build a perfect racehorse, he is the perfect racehorse.
That was the horse
Yeah,
that made
he
me want to
kind
get
of
out
is
every
the perfect
morning.
racehorse.
How are we so lucky to even get to be around this horse?
Never ran once on Lasix, hay oats, and water. That's the way we do it.
He
That's
was
how
the only
everybody should
horse
do it in
that
the
was
sport of
actually
horse racing.
nominated for 3 different awards, so that alone was a milestone.
Accepting the Eclipse Award for champion male sprinter Runhappy is his owner, James McInvale.
Thank you, Runhappy, for all you do. You've truly touched and changed our lives.
Oh, yeah. Wait, why is everything going backwards? That's just strange. You don't see that happen all the time in a video. Is that him as a baby?
He was an exceptional first foal. You know, sometimes you can get first foals that are a little light or a little small, being the mare's first pregnancy, and he was the complete opposite. He was
Him as a foal?
He was a beast from day one. To say that we knew how good he was and how fast he was would be an exaggeration, but we knew he was a really athletic, very good-sized first foal, which is, you got to be really excited as a breeder.
He just had this presence about him. This, call it class, if you will, but he just stood out and almost has this little cocky stature about him.
He looks like a statue.
I'm the man.
We considered the November sale, then we thought he was a little immature after he was weaned, and so we refocused on the September sale.
25 here, 35, 41. I'm 25 here, 35 like him. I'm 25 and 35, 35 and 50.
You know, I'm not a horse picker. I couldn't pick a thoroughbred out of a room full of chihuahuas. I'm just not good at that. But my sister-in-law, Laura Wheeler, and she went to the sale and picked several horses that Keeneland September sale, and the one she really liked was Runhappy.
I went and looked at him, and he just had a real nice walk to him. Just was very, very well balanced, really well put together, and he just had a really great mind. I always, when I went to the sale, if I had a horse I really liked, I'd always want Cordell's opinion, because let's face it, he's held how many great yearlings in the sale. So I'd had him go and look at him, and he really liked the way he looked.
First time I laid my eyes on him that evening, I said, wow, this horse looked like the real deal.
Our veterinarian, James Slaughter, we always have him go and look at all our horses. And he said, look, this horse has kind of a little issue on his right sesamoid behind. And he said, and it looks like it's healed. And I said, well, you don't think it's going to bother me? Because, you know, it's kind of 50-50. It's either going to or not.
And I said, you know what?
If you like him physically and you scope him and you think he scopes good, then I'll take a chance at it.
He was just such an exceptional colt. We had people telling us he was the best looking horse in the sale. He was about the most beautiful fluid walker you'll ever see.
We had bought an arch colt the first part of the sale that I really didn't like a whole lot. I thought he wasn't going to last, and Mac had paid $200,000 for him. So, you know, I said, well, I really like this horse, and he's my pick of the sale. So since we spent $200 on that arch colt, I think we should go ahead and go up to $200.
She told me $200,000. I said, well, you liking that much?
$200,000 for one horse?
I tend to be more
you serious?
liberal on spending money than she is. She's very parsimonious.
Hit number 1630, a bay colt by the Kentucky Derby winner Super Saver.
When he was going to go in the ring, I was hoping Cordell would hold him, and he was. When you watch the video, Cordell kept looking at me, and I was like, stop looking at me, you know, because he knew I wanted to buy him, and he wanted me to buy him.
How about you men back there, 210, about 210, we're going to go at 210, 210 and a half.
And he got sold for that much.
Frankly, we were really, really disappointed with him only bringing $200,000, which sounds crazy if you paid $5,000 for the mare and bred to a stallion for $20,000.
And we rolled the dice, and the dice turned up really good.
Why are we seeing his mouth?
I think he arrived October 14th, if I remember right, somewhere around there. And he didn't know how to go from the gate. Of course, you know, you always had that Derby curse, okay, that if you didn't run it too, you couldn't win the Derby.
Yeah,
so Mac was like,
that was
well,
the
he's
Apollo curse.
Thinking is letting
now
run.
I like to call it the justified curse.
And they're off. Loose cannon broke sharply, worth the gamble.
The race opens, and he's not even on the screen. He's dead last, and I'm thinking, oh, here comes another one, you know, another disappointment.
I said, well, just give him a second. He's pretty quick. Here, all of a sudden in the film, here comes his little nose, and I go, there he is, right there, coming up the rail. And of course, he just came flying up the rail around the turn, and Mac was like,
to it in a
my
future
God,
video.
you know, how fast is this horse?
Here comes Runhappy, moving through from the inside. Runhappy just moves right by.
And then, of course, he went like the half and 45, and Mike Battaglia's call is so funny because he like lapped.
Half went 45 seconds flat.
And then he gets to the top of the stretch, veers way out almost to the grandstands, and runs zigzag down the stretch.
It's Runhappy running erratically through the stretch.
I think he saw the lights in the stands, and he kind of got startled, and he was switching his leads back and forth.
If he's wearing blinkers?
You know, getting out in the stretch, and I think the jockey was half freaking out over how crazy he was being.
Runhappy, impressive in his debut.
We laughed and thought maybe this horse can really run.
By the way, this doesn't go to commercial. See what I mean?
Hi, folks. This is Mattress Mac Gallery Furniture. Really will save you money.
What the hell?
Years ago, I used to have a girl that used to work for me at Gallery in the service department, and I think she summed up Mac the best when one day she said, you know, Laura, Mac's got a fist of iron, a mind of steel, and a heart of gold. And that's how Mac is.
From Katrina, I lost everything. He furnished my apartment, gave me a job, gave me a career.
I think our life motto is just the essence of living is giving. So we try to do everything in our life to really give back to somebody else.
Well, at least you're doing people a favor.
Hurricane Harvey came in on Friday night, Saturday morning in Houston. There was no water in my house, but in
thank God.
the street in front of my house, there was 3 or 4 foot of water. Got on the freeway to go to the main Gallery Furniture stores. I went over the first overpass. The cars are coming the wrong way on the freeway.
Damn.
And that's when you know that the stuff has hit the fans.
Hi, Jim McAvell here at Gallery Furniture. Want to let all the residents that have been affected by this horrible hurricane and flood know that all of us at Gallery Furniture are praying for you.
My father did a Facebook Live because in our minds that was the best way
to do a little
let
more
the
than
people
just pray.
to know,
You need
hey,
hope
if you
that
need anything,
you can
call
help
us.
them.
We will do everything in our power to save you guys, to rescue whatever we can do.
We told the people that both stores would be open as shelters for the storm for people and pets.
Seconds later, it felt like you had people calling from everywhere. And the store phones were already just completely ringing off the hook, like, hey, Matt, can you come rescue us?
The minute it happened, Mac sprung into action like simultaneously. It's mind-blowing how quick he jumped into action to help everybody.
Within about 24 hours, we probably had 600 people at Gallery staying there.
Seriously? Yeah, that many people?
He got trucks to go around through the water to pick up anybody needing him.
At least you're helping
He was just on the ball from day one.
We thought about helping people, and that's what we're supposed to do, and that's what my wife has dedicated her life to, and myself, and hopefully my children and grandchildren.
Gallery Racing? It sounds like a stable name.
It takes an entire community to raise a child, and it takes an entire group of people to help these racehorses, and these horses are very dependent on it. And Cordell's a master groom, he's a master horseman.
There's nobody that knows a horse better than their groom. And they're with them more than anything. They're checking their legs every day, even though the trainer is as well. They're making sure they, are getting cooled out properly. They're the ones walking them. They're the ones handling them. They know everything about them. And Cordell truly is so in sync with Runhappy. It's incredible.
Cordell was absolutely the best person on earth to be at the end of it, shanking in the stall with a horse. We all knew that. But the paperwork part of it, you know, keeping track of all the Coggins and setting up the vanning and all that kind of stuff was just pretty overwhelming to him. So I needed an assistant because I couldn't be here all the time. And so I've never been a public trainer. I could care less about, you know, my name being out there in lights or being, you know, the trainer record. So I had hired Maria as an assistant, and I didn't have any problem with her letting all the horses run in her name because she wanted to get some recognition.
And there he goes. Get dirty, boy.
When we brought him back in April to run, we knew we really needed to really get his mind straight to where he knew how to run and be a little more professional. And that's one of the reasons that we decided that we for sure wanted to run him through his allowance conditions. You know, that before we put him into another race, let him go and get some experience. So we ran him at Indiana, ran him at Ellis, and we kept saying, well, if he wins this race, we'll run him here, and if he wins at Ellis, then we'll think about the King Bishop. So Maria knew Edgar from New York, and she was the one that said, I think that Edgar will be a good person. I think that he'll have confidence in a horse that is running with us. Because let's face it, I mean, you know, Maria didn't have much of a race record. I didn't have much of a race record. I'd called his agent, Bob Claceris, and said, hey, why don't you come in town and breeze this horse and see what you think?
I wore the horse, and I come back, and it wasn't even breathing hard. You know, it remind me a little bit of Barbaro.
I bet he did.
And I went and had breakfast with Edgar and said, you know, do you think he fits the King Bishop? And he said, yeah, Laura, I think he fits. I think you should run him there.
Why are you dancing like that?
Saratoga. You don't get, in my mind, a more storied sports venue in the United States for sure, but for sure in racing.
When he came to the paddock, his just whole demeanor was that I'm here to go out there and win this race.
And we knew he had talent, but you don't know how much talent they have until they run against the big dogs.
Oh, yeah.
They're off in the King's Bishop.
I go with this confidence that I'm going there to win, and that's it. I'm not looking for no second place or running behind you.
It's Runhappy in front. Limousine Liberal, Holy Boss can't get him. Runhappy has won the King's Bishop.
I looked up and saw that he had gone in 120 and 4. I thought, oh my God, I think he's
120 and 4. Is that a new record?
I was very impressed because the horse
for the King's Bishop?
The fashion way, you know. It took the pressure from the beginning, and I keep going. And like I said, come back, and I was unbelievable.
To win the King's Bishop in stakes record time, almost track record time, it feels surreal. It really does.
Right after we won, Matt called me, and I mean, he was just ecstatic.
We made it to the big time in the game, and
yeah,
more
it's not
importantly,
really
we
the
did
big
it
time
our
in
way.
horse racing. The big
Lasix,
time is when you got horse
no
of the year.
injections, hay, oat, and water, and this incredible horse just ran off the screen. I had several calls from really people I respect in the horse business saying, you got a heck of a horse here. We kept digging and digging and digging, and we found the light at the end of the tunnel.
Keeneland. And cover. And coming around the turn.
The Phoenix was a super cool day. Being at Keeneland was so much fun to be home. Like, we felt like we were on our home turf.
And our favorite is the one Runhappy. Not bad for a horse who was a upset winner of the Grade 1 King's Bishop last time out.
Then the track came up sloppy, and even though he had won on a muddy track at Indiana, even a couple times in the post parade, he was kind of stumbling, and I thought, oh man, he doesn't like this surface.
We all watched down on the rail outside. We didn't care about the rain. My poor dad was so nervous. He's like, I need to go back upstairs. I can't watch from down here.
And they're off
in the Phoenix.
I thought, man, we're going to have to send this horse from the one hole because I knew that they would purposely try to trap him on the rail.
Runhappy now kicks in and flashes his speed, and there goes Runhappy from fourth up the rail
wow, he had
to take the lead.
For that.
He broke it a little slow, like I normally do, and I sent him out of there to get him in position, and the saddle slipped.
Oh, damn.
I saw that saddle start to slip, and I was thinking, my God, this saddle looks like it's getting ready to come off him.
When the saddle slips, you know, a lot of things go through your mind. So you
how
don't
does
know
a
how far
jockey
it's going to go.
even
No, the only you start feeling that you go farther and back and farther back.
Front running style here for the 3-year-old Runhappy, drifting out a deep stretch, but he's got it.
Good horses have to overcome
How do you keep your
obstacles.
balance like
he
that?
Had to break from the one hole. Then he had a track he didn't like. He was losing his saddle, and he still won impressively. That's the kind of race that makes you say he's a great horse.
It was a very exciting race, and another
same thing happened with the California Chrome in the Dubai World Cup in 2016, and one of my other reactions I did.
The Breeders' Cup week was a whirlwind.
He'd won 4 races in a row, and He was fast, and yeah, there was a lot of great competition.
Everybody was just giving us all sorts of crap about how there was no way that we were going to win because he was a 3-year-old. We couldn't beat Private Zone.
Was Private Zone undefeated at the time?
Super comfortable at that time going into the Breeders' Cup. Not that
he probably was.
We were going to win, but that we were going to be prepared.
A week before he won the Breeders' Cup, I worked in 3 quarters. He worked in 109. I mean, I cannot even forget that day.
Everybody was talking about how crazy we were, but
he's speeding up already. There's no race.
I mean, Omar's looking at his watch the first part, and then he's grabbing a hold of him because he was going so fast.
He was like all business out there, the track, when he decided to run.
Everybody was going on and on about how we let him go too fast, and Omar said, heck, I could have let him go 107 if I'd wanted.
They're off in the Breeders' Cup Sprint. Kobe's back is at the back of the pack. I might do this in a future reaction whenever I get to the 2015 Breeders' Cup.
I was able to let those horses go by and sit right outside. And Runhappy, he was happy right there.
Private Zone is dead even with him, and now he takes over. And Runhappy is swung to the outside of them.
When we go around the turn, I started asking my horse to get a little closer, and he responded. But those horses in front wasn't stopping either.
Private Zone reaching for the wire. Runhappy coming after him.
By the time
he really had a sprint then.
The wire was already there.
Runhappy's got him. Runhappy.
And I believe I saw this race.
Everybody after that race, all they talked about was how it was a different dimension to be able to see him come off the pace.
I can't remember a better feeling in racing or any work that I've done than when that horse crossed the finish line at Keeneland.
It was just a culmination of the fact that the work they had put into this horse and the horse himself had proved that their training methods worked. They deserved all the accolades and all the glory.
I think that for all of us that were around him, like even Cordell, I mean, I don't think we can ever experience that again.
Nope, probably not. Wait.
Then the next morning,
why are we seeing Maria Burrell?
Wanted to do some things that were contrary to the culture. We're big on culture. You know, this is how we do things. We don't vary.
The problem was that it got to a point where she just honestly wasn't a real team player.
Maria Burrell, who had just age 31, won the Breeders' Cup Sprint with a barn of just 3 horses, was fired as the trainer of Runhappy.
Damn.
We took a tremendous amount of heat from the racing media and from fans saying, why did you fire this woman?
There's a truth, there's hearsay, and then there's false. I think, unfortunately, what the racing world heard was the hearsay.
Probably,
and
yeah.
the hearsay, unfortunately, in our case, was very far from the truth.
Next thing I know, I've got Jerry Balin in California calling me saying, do you want to give me a comment on this tweet out there, Maria, talking about how he's lame, I want to take him to the track. And I said, well, that's not true.
Every other day on Twitter, you didn't want to go on because it was 15 things about how terrible we all are.
She made it sound like we weren't paying her, you know, but she was paid a salary and she was given bonuses and she made quite a bit of money here.
Does she want to do something bad to the horse?
Take the heat for it, and we knew what the extenuating circumstance was, and eventually it all kind of came out that Maria had some problems, and
abuse
we wish her
case.
the best.
I hope for people in racing,
she wanted to abuse him, didn't she?
Our gallery racing team would never do anything that wasn't completely for the benefit of our animals. We decided very early on what we were going to do as when it comes to moving on and to having Laura train him.
It doesn't matter what anybody says. It doesn't matter what people are saying out there. It doesn't matter whether they're telling the truth or they're telling lies. I still walk through this door every morning and see that horse standing there.
And
he's still yours. You know, at the end of the day, he's still yours.
Okay. Santa Anita? Yep, it is.
Malibu was a race that my dad's always wanted to win. It's the Santa Anita, it's opening day, it's the Malibu, it's such a big race, such a storied race.
There was tremendous pressure on Laura, the trainer, to perform in the Malibu. Otherwise, they'd say the horse can't run without Maria. These guys are a bunch of jerks, blah, blah, blah.
At the time, I didn't realize, a lot of people had told me, there's no way he's going to win. You shouldn't be running him back. He's had such a hard campaign. And here I was thinking, I really think this horse is sounder and doing better than he has been for the past
I know he swears
4 months.
in this
We get out
video
to California and
because I've seen it in my
everybody's
spare
amazing.
time.
Santa
I
is
just
so
want
much
to say
fun.
that
We saw Bob
this will
one
be
morning, who
another
is still such a
time
good friend of
I
our
allow
families.
swearing in my
He's always been
videos.
so great and sweet to us. And he said, I mean, this horse could run
So
with 3
if you're a
legs
kid
and
watching
win
this,
race.
We'd
please
gone
let
to
a
dinner
teenager
at some little
or
restaurant. I saw a text
your
from
parents
Robert
check this out.
Placeris, who was Edgar's agent. And he's like, you know, Edgar had a bad spill today, Laura, and I mean, he's hurt pretty bad.
Looks like Betty unseated Edgar Prado and is on the other side of the turf course.
Well, this ain't going to be a dark reaction because it's only one
I broke
horse.
my 6 ribs.
Plus,
and that's why I miss
Edgar
Runhappy.
Prado was hurt
My
bad.
agent had been in touch with him. He knew that
But
they
if it's
were
like multiple
coming
horses,
out here
then
for
it's
the
a dark
Malibu,
reaction.
and you know it was pretty simple math. I was doing quite well at the time, and they had asked if I would be interested, and obviously I was very interested.
I called Gary and I talked to Gary and he gave me some tips, and it was pretty easy, you know. And all what I had to do is help him out to break out of the game. The rest of he will do everything by himself.
And they're off. It was a very clean beginning, and Runhappy is sent right to the front.
He said, make sure you jump at him that first jump, get his mind
going
on
out-
running, and then
he's
just
going
put
out
him
very
on cruise
quickly.
control. And he said, when you ask him coming into the stretch, he'll give you what you need.
Top of the lane, Gary Stevens has been the
Top of the
perfect
stretch.
passenger for Runhappy. He's clear by 4.
When we hit the
Looks
8th
like
pole
5
and I
lengths to
did
me.
call on him, he gave me the right answer and exploded, and he won with great ease.
Runhappy is simply super. He polishes off an outstanding campaign with a dominant victory in the Malibu.
The Malibu was a very stressful race for all of us, but he went out there and just did his thing, and it was a great day for Runhappy and a great day for Laura Wheeler and my daughter Laura vindicating all the heat they'd have after the Maria Burrell problem. I was walking to the Catholic Church, which is right across the street from Santa Anita. Some fans said, well, maybe that son of a bitch can pay her now. I thought that was great.
That was funny a little bit. Runhappy ended his career with 7 wins from 10 starts while remaining undefeated in sprints. Runhappy ran twice as a 4-year-old, 4th in the ACAC at Churchill and 8th in the Breeders' Cup Dirt Mile at Santa Anita. During Runhappy's championship season, Claiborne Farms singled out the colt's future as a stallion prospect.
I remember as a kid, my dad came home one night and said, hey, I want to watch this movie with you. And that wasn't like it was this weird thing that never happened, but my father definitely worked until 10, 11 p.m. at night.
Her and I used to watch the Secretariat video all the time. We must
You mean the
have watched
movie or
thousands
the
of times. She had it
actual
memorized.
video of
After the King's
Secretariat
Bishop,
winning the
oddly
Belmont?
enough, there was a Longhorn football game. We played Notre Dame. Seth and Walker were both at the game as guests of Charlie. And we saw them on the sidelines and we said, you know, hey, do you guys need a ride back on our plane? And you guys can kind of hop on with us. And I remember we got on the airplane and my dad was just so excited to get to talk to Seth about just, hey, what do we do from now on? We had won the King's Bishop and how incredible that was. And Seth said, you know, that's such a stallion making race. We'd really love for you guys to come out and tour the farm and just see what you think. We'd like to take a look at seeing if we could stand Runhappy here. And to us, and you're thinking,
And he is there.
This is the greatest day of my life. This is the greatest day of my life. We go to Secretariat stall.
It's empty at the
and
time.
It's empty at the time. They've kept it empty. I don't know for how many years.
Runhappy's in that
close
stall
to 15
these
or
days.
20 or so, because they do so many tours and it's such a storied stall. And it was just, to us to even get to see it, to touch his nameplate, that was just it was incredible.
Dad built that barn, and I can't remember when it was finished, but it would have been in the 60s, maybe late 50s.
Bold Ruler.
And Bo Ruler went right in that stall. So he set a pretty high mark. Secretariat went in there. Of course, that was a natural place for him to go to take his dad's spot. And we've always tried to put a champion in there or something that we feel like could really have an impact on the game.
That stall's been probably one of the most famous stalls in Central Kentucky.
I remember after that, Bernie, their stallion manager, sent me a text actually and said, you know, hey, I just want to let you know that we are very interested in standing Runhappy here, as you guys know. I want to let you know if you'll please tell your dad that if he comes here, he gets stall 1. And I remember I took the screenshot and I sent it to my dad and he said, it wraps it up.
It was nice having the attention.
And that's where he is these days.
Talking to all these great farms, legendary farms there in Kentucky, talking to the Japanese and other people. But At the end, when Bernie Sam said he could have stall 1 at Claiborne where Secretariat and Bold Ruler and Easy Goer.
Bold Ruler, Secretariat, Easy Goer, Unbridled, not Runhappy.
No contest.
I think if we told him we were going to put him in Mr. Prospector's stall, he might have been somewhere else.
He's a very sought-after stallion. Everyone was bidding on him to hopefully secure him as their for their stallion rosters. So it was definitely a big feather in our caps, and we were very excited and relieved also at the same time to finally
looks like he's trying to look at his own name
and get him in that #1 stall here.
Claiborne's a wonderful place. We're very traditional people, you know, and Claiborne is a very traditional farm. They do things old school, and we're pretty much like that ourselves in our training and everything else.
Sometimes I think it's rare.
He wants that apple.
For a person like Mr. McIntyre with a wonderful horse to send it to Claiborne, because we don't shuttle our horses. They don't go to the Southern Hemisphere. They stay here all year round, and we limit their books as well as we can.
We're proud to have Runhappy at Claiborne, which is a
he's probably thinking that, oh yeah, I'm back on the racetrack now that he's running.
They don't breed 200 mares a year, about 130 or something. And they do it right. They do it the old school way, and their #1 interest is the horse, and that's what we were most concerned about, was the care of Runhappy.
We still feel like he's ours. We still go and see him, and I think it would have been really hard on us all had he left the barn and we could never go see him, and we, you know, I can pick up the phone and say, I'm coming to see Runhappy tomorrow, and they're like, fine, come on.
You're trying to do the best thing for the horses, and a lot of times people, when they have a good horse, that is their income to run their whole stable with, and Mr. McIntyre, I think, has been more than agreeable to the Claiborne way every step of the way.
For him to be able to be in that stall at that farm with those people, we couldn't have written it better.
I'm pretty sure
I know
he's
the criteria my grandfather always used was they had to win at 2 years old, being
real good
stakes
these
winners
days.
at 3.
I don't
That's
even know what I'm
certainly
saying.
He was.
And this horse ran the old-fashioned way.
And there he goes,
ran
running.
drug-free, and he was brilliant.
Now he's on the wrong lead.
As fast as he was, and to have no medication to help him, says a lot for him. Day to day, not just in the races, but his day-to-day training. Says a lot for what he can pass on to his offspring.
I think the fact that he
Was that his
ran
progeny?
100% medication-free is a huge,
you know, like one of his
huge
kids.
positive for him, because you don't really get that in this country, and it's kind of a special aspect that he brings to the stallion market. You know, he kind of bucked the trend, and he's proven that American horses don't need the medication that they often get.
Train them hard, hay, oats, and water, no drugs, no injections, no
You
Lasix,
should own
no
some of
Bute.
his
That's
kids.
the way we do it.
He adds a lot of speed, and yet he's out of a broken Val mare, so they ought to be able to do the distance. He's a
they should
good-looking
have the same
horse.
connections
I think he's a special
as their
horse.
father did.
I think that his offspring is
Same jockeys too. Same with Edgar
His
and
race record was,
Gary Stevens.
speaks for itself, and everyone saw his brilliance on the track.
Not Maria
He's
Burrell,
fast.
because she wanted to
Got
abuse him
confirmation.
or something, whatever it said
Physically
earlier.
attractive to breeders, and he's got pedigree. So I mean, he's the full package.
If he passes on his conformation and his speed and his respiratory system, I know he's going to
This is
throw
his
some
kid.
great babies.
That's his
He
problem.
could build the perfect racehorse. He is the perfect racehorse.
He's a perfect shaped stallion. I mean, if you wanted to show someone an ideal shaped horse, I think you'd show him Runhappy. He's got a great athletic body.
He's got such a good mind. He really does. Smart horse.
To me, Runhappy represents all that's good with horse racing, and hopefully he will change the breed in the future because he's such a great racehorse.
Nice. So anyways, that was the Runhappy, the documentary. I'm glad I got this one over. I've tried numerous times, like I said before, and I always got interruptions. I had noise going on in the background. But this time, I was able to finish it. And I'm really glad I did. It was a long documentary. I think The Life and Times of Secretariat and Runhappy, the documentary, are going to be the only 2 documentaries that I'm going to be doing on this channel. So, anyways, this video has gone way too long. So, I'm going to end here. So, that's going to be it for this reaction. So, please leave a like down below. Most importantly, copy the name of the video I reacted to and search it up in the search bar so you guys can see the video for yourself without having me talk over it. And click over here to subscribe. And I'll see you guys in the next video. Later.